Alright, everyone, I want to welcome you to our Cult of Larry Draft League Week 6 recap video. I'm Dr. Geo, with me is...
P McGee.
And we're going to be going over all of the exciting happenings in action for our Week 6 in the league. We're going to be covering every match. We're going to feature 3 matches and take a deeper dive into them, and then we'll also be taking a look at general standings and see how things are shaping up in our playoff race, which is, starting to heat up for some people. Maybe
We're
not
getting
the 2 hosts, but
maybe not us, but for most other folks, quite a few of them are getting to look ahead towards playoffs, or at least get themselves very close in the race to secure those spots, as we are in week 7 now. After we cover this week, so 3 weeks left. Make it or break it moment for a lot of coaches, and all playoff spots still up for grabs. I don't think anyone has officially secured anything yet.
Yeah, there may be some that could secure it based off of a few other people playing and losing. That's how close they are, but they're one win away from just securing it and not worrying about anything. But Without further ado, we're gonna hop into it. This is the wrong league, of course. We're gonna start with Initiate. And our first match is the Richland Raichus, coached by Emo, going up against the Midwestern Moltres, coached by Shuriken. Here on the Raichu side, we have Mega Mile, Serena, Mamoswine, Dragalge, Uxie, and Hisuian Zoroark.
And then on Shuriken's side, we've got the Zygarde, the Cinderace, the Mega Beedrill, the Crawdaunt, the Landorus Incarnate, and the Tapu Fini.
Which we're gonna fix on the fly.
Yeah. It's a pretty good matchup for Shuriken overall. There's just a lot of offensive pressure he has that Emo has limited switch-ins on. Zygarde forces Serena or Uxie out, and if it's a toxic sub-Zygarde, then those get worn down. Cinderace more or less clicks buttons here. There's actually not a Cinderace switch-in, realistically. It has super effective moves for everything.
Your steel type for Beedrill is Mega Mile too. It's a really
Which
hard...
means you can't switch in. Like, Mega Mawile can take quarter damage from the U-turn, but then that just freely grants entry to Zygarde or Cinderace or Landorus, all of which are difficult for Emo to switch in on. So really just a lot of offensive pressure that Shuriken's able to generate, and it's really hard for Emo to keep those in check or get on the offensive position he needs, because he doesn't have the speed either.
Yeah, and Serena is hard tied down to stopping Zygarde. And nothing to stop Crawdaunt or even Lander. It's so hard.
It's button clicking. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, 5-0, 3 kills for Cinderace. Just Zoroark things here. 7 KOs. So one KO's not real, but so it's either on Landorus or Cinderace. I don't remember which, but
yeah.
Either
way, no surprise what popped.
It's just an impossible matchup. You could do. You could just lead Beedrill here, and as long as you're spec to survive, or you don't even have to lead Beedrill, but you can just get it in. You can lead Beanie or something.
Yeah.
Every U-turn's gonna lead to a KO basically, or the sequence will lead to a KO.
As long as you're not on the field with as long as Beedrill doesn't poison jab something and is stuck on the field and grants free entry to Mega Mawile, you just keep generating momentum and staying on offense. And if he can't get Mega Mawile on, then Mega Mawile doesn't get those KOs, and pieces just start crumbling pretty quickly, which is, I think, more or less what happened here.
Yeah, so good job. We're gonna hop into our Week 2 match here. Here we have the Sunset Solrocks, coached by Tides, going up against the New York Yamas, coached by Jordan. Take a look what we got here. This was a forfeit match. Why it isn't? Jordan forfeited. He wasn't able to make the match, so that's that. Alright, next we have the Portland Pincers, coached by Jag, going up against the Arizona Absols, coached by Robopup. So here we have Roshifu. I'm gonna give it the cool single strike so we can see his pretty little face. There he is. The Urshifu single strike, Nidoqueen, Mew, Scissor, Sylveon, and Lantern.
And then on the other side, we've got the Megalopony, the Swampert, the Heatran, the Lycanroc Dusk, the Togekiss, and the Hydreigon.
So
So
there's a lot of like play and counterplay for this matchup, but the Mega Lopunny just feels so strong here. Because for anyone who's unaware, this is a return league or a legacy moves league. So return
Nidoqueen is not a great answer in that
Neither
kind of
Sylveon.
situation. Yeah, they kind of get bopped pretty hard, and it has Fire Punch for Scizor, so Scizor doesn't get free entry either. Mew can kind of manage it, but if it is predictively U-turns, Mew's not really answering it either. Alternatively, though, Jag with the Urshifu also gets the button click pretty freely. Togekiss is such an obvious switch in that you can just U-turn into Nidoqueen, and Nidoqueen also doesn't really have a switch in. And if Nidoqueen's able to sub on Togekiss or something like that,
this is a
it's
matchup
both
where,
teams smacking with fighting types.
Yeah, this is a matchup where if I were playing either side of it, I would almost predicate the entire match on just getting turn 1 correct. Whoever gets turn 1 correct, just at such an advantage for such a highly offensive matchup, or at least what appears to be a highly offensive matchup. So taking a look here, Jag's able to take it with 4 KOs on the Nidoqueen.
Yeah, that's unsurprising. There's not a switch in, so if Nidoqueen is on the field in front of Heatran, Togekiss, a weakened down Swampert, or a Hydreigon that has a decent amount of chip, Nidoqueen has all of the coverage for all of those, and it just claims KOs.
Yeah, and switching, so
no.
Good job, Jag. Just offensive matchups like that are really hard. Everything's played on a knife's edge. Alright, coming up next, we have the District Darmanitan, coached by Iris, going up against the St. Louis Charizards, coached by Charizard Ace. Let's see, the Darmanitan, they brought Zeraora, Florges, Celesteela, Suian Arcanine, Dracovish, and Latias.
And then on the other side, we've got the Dragapult, the Piloswine, the Blastoise, the Rillaboom, the Skarmory, and the Mega Medicham. So it's pretty clear that there are a finite number of times you can switch in on Dracovish before it just wins the game. I think Blastoise gets 1 to maybe 2 switch-ins. Rillaboom gets 1 switch-in. Dragapult maybe gets 1 switch-in, and the game just kind of ends.
Skarm gets maybe
none.
No?
It'll do over 50% to Skarm, and then so Skarm can't switch in.
I don't have a good feel for like what this 180 315 base power move.
Yeah, I'll check the calc while you're looking at the matchup and
Yeah,
giving your thoughts.
that's really hard. And Rillaboom doesn't really have a game as long as Celesteela is there, and I don't see a great way for like Specs Pult. Maybe the best you can do, but then you've got the 4 times Fire Resist and Arcanine. I don't know. This is really hard to take the Celesteela down.
So the calc on an Adamant Fishious Rend from a Dracovish is 60 to 71% on a max defense Skarmory. So yeah, Skarmory cannot switch in. So it's Blastoise once, Rillaboom once, Dragapult maybe once, but you're gambling that it's not banned and getting instant KO'd. And then that's it, and then it just starts claiming KOs. And if I recall correctly, I think that might be the deciding factor in this match.
No, Celesteela sweep. I mean, Dracovish could have still broken like the Blastoise or something to allow for the Celesteela sweep. Yeah, it's totally fine. Zeraora.
Oh, I remember what happened here. So,
is this the Piloswine, Earthquake, and Grassy Terrain?
Yeah, this is a learning lesson for Charizard Ace, and it was mentioned in post game. Piloswine does fine in grassy terrain. It just needs to run high horsepower. And because he has the Rillaboom, he has full knowledge and control of what matchups he needs Earthquake for and which matchups he needs high horsepower for. And the damage difference isn't really relevant. It's just a matter of getting the right move so you're not screwing yourself into half damage on Earthquake. So he learned his lesson. Definitely contributed to the Zeraora breaking through things, because I think Zeraora got to claim an extra kill. because
Oh
Rillaboom
yeah.
wasn't able to come in for a cleanup on Grassy
So
Glide.
it took three turns because Palace went in to break a sub, and then Earthquake doesn't KO and Grassy turn. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah, so that's what happened. All that speculation on how the matchup would go, and didn't go that way.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how it usually is, though.
Yeah. Next, we have the Denton Zoroark, coached by Spirit Union, going up against Hope's Peak Deoxys, coached by Josh. So let's take a look at the mons that they brought. We have here on Denton's side, Mega Gallade, Landorus Therian, Enamorus, Greninja, Suian Gudra, and Arcanine.
And then on Joshua's side, we've got the Slowbro, the Mega Aggron, the Rotom Heat, the Torrentee, the Aromatisse, and the Kyurem. Wow, there is not a lot of Kyurem answers on this side of the field, or on Spirit's side of the field. Basically, Spirit's
Arcanine,
gambling.
Like, that's the best I can see.
Yeah, he's more or less gambling on Kyurem being choice locked and getting the choices right. Because
you can kill
Gudra
the Kyurem just fine. You just can't switch in on it very well.
Yeah, you're having to put Arcanine in there a lot, or Scout with Hisui and Gudra, because you can take the hits and then switch into the right answer afterwards if it's Arcanine or if it's Landorus Therian or Enamorus, based off whether Earth Power or Freeze Dry.
There's just so much here between like the Aromatisse and like the two regenerators. Like, you're just gonna be able to like pivot in and out until you're able to get like Kyurem on the field. This looks like a really tough
Rotom
match.
Heat is one of the better Enamorus answers if you're gonna EV it that way. It's like a special defensive answer because it can handle the Moonblast. It doesn't get affected by the Earth powers. Everything else is neutral damage and it's not stab. And then you can Pain Split. You have Volt Switch for super effective priority damage, not priority, just pivot damage. And so you can check one of the better things. And yeah.
Aromatisse with 2 KOs. That's my gal.
I mean,
she is.
I believe the Arcanine got poisoned, and once the Arcanine gets poisoned, and if it's an AV Gudra, which it usually has been in our experience so far this season, Aromatisse just starts getting to click Moonblast pretty freely, and there's not a lot of answers to that. So I think that's no surprise that it was more of a killing piece than it normally is.
Yeah, Mega Ag gets 2 kills. It's very good. Okay, let's see. Next, we have the Delaware Dodrio, coached by Hysterically, going up against the Vancouver Pavilions, coached by Soul. Alright, let's take a look at these mons. On Delaware's side, we have the Mandibuzz, the Jellicent, Mega Scissor, Raikou, Donphan, and Latios.
And then on Soul's side, we've got the Garchomp, we've got the Azelf, we've got the Infernape, we've got the Xurkitree, the Milotic, and the Corviknight.
Pardon me. Alright, so Xurkitree kind of slaps here. Like, Donphan can't...
Not an answer.
No, not with the Energy Ball lying around. Like, you can get away with, like, Volt Switch, T-Bolt, Energy Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. So, like...
And Hysterically's team is a little slow, too.
Yeah, Mega Scissor can switch in, but, like, I don't know how many times, and if it can switch into Adamant, it's really tough. Raikou can switch in, but, like, if you switch either of these mons into a Volt Switch, like, you're in trouble. Like,
you're just giving free entry to Garchomp or Infernape, Azelf, depending on what it wants to do. So, Soul has a lot of momentum to get in pieces that he wants to do damage, and then Hysterically needs to fight hard to create opportunities for the Latios and I'm guessing the Raikou to come and do damage. Actually,
Azelf here like just does a ton of damage. Like, you can almost run physical this this matchup, or mixed if you want to just hit the Donphan with a Psychic, but like keep enough pressure for like a Life Orb, Fire Punch for Mega Scissor. Like, that's gonna do a ton of damage.
There's a lot for Hysterically to handle, but if I do recall correctly, I think he does find a way.
Yeah, he does find. Was this a setup, Latios? Like, I want to say maybe D-Dance with a...
See, the thing is, Latios is faster than everything besides Azelf. So if Azelf goes down and he doesn't have Scarfs, if Soul doesn't have Scarfs, then Latios doesn't need the boost. I don't remember if it was a boosting set or not. I do know that it actually generally gets to click buttons if the Milotic isn't tanky enough to take the hits. Because Thunderbolt, Bolt Beam actually is quite effective here, since the neutral mons of Xurkitree and Azelf don't have any bulk, and so they can't actually take Ice Beams long term.
Right. No, that's a really good point. Like, it's a really good offensive matchup for the Latios. It struggles to switch in on some things, like any of it, but if it doesn't have to switch in, like, it has enough bulk to take a hit, unless it's like Scarf, Outrage, Garchomp. That's obviously gonna take it down, but so well done.
Yeah, good win.
Okay, next we have Team Nuclear Warfare, coached by Tox, up against Big Balls Curator, coached by Rock. And these logos.
This is our future match. I know, this is our featured match too.
So, alright, let's take a look what they brought here. On Tox's side, we have your Uniclus, Cloyster, Clefable, Ditto, Eldegoss, and Blissey. Ugh, God, Eldegoss.
Yeah. He deserves a loss on Team Preview for bringing that. And then Rock has the Mega Diancie, the Rotom Wash, the Crocodile, the Galarian Zapdos, the Spectrier, and the Bronzong. But we'll get into that match shortly because it is our featured one.
Yeah.
Or is this the last game?
This is the last game, so we're just gonna...
Oh, perfect. Slide right over.
We're gonna slide right over and switch scenes. Alright, we gotta do this on the fly, ladies and gents.
Bear with us.
There's one. There's two. There's three. Okay, so we've already introduced the teams. We're just gonna get into the match on normal speed. Are you ready?
Yep,
3,
coming in.
2, 1, go. So we see Eldegoss lead.
Terrible lead. He should feel bad. Good. It's gone. Thank God. It's what it deserved.
It just dies. All right. Clefable.
So Cosmic. So I think he just wins right here if he keeps Cosmic Powering. I don't know why he even bothers to stop. I think he just outright wins in that set immediately.
Yeah, I don't see anything on this team to stop it.
Trick Rotom is about it. Focus Blast for Uniclus. So Reuniclus finally makes an appearance since that 6-0 debut and gets a KO. And then goes right for another KO, but sets off a weakness policy.
But then
it scares it out. And it just keeps spamming Shadow Ball. This Reuniclus is here for blood.
How does
Reuniclus with another kill?
How do you just switch out at like +4?
I don't know.
How does that not kill even with a berry? You know.
I don't know what the play was there. I was a little surprised.
So we can switch out. Good close combat, like maybe a Chople set, but like you're not worried.
Pretty free Brave Bird here. Also, again, why isn't Clefable coming in and clicking what it needs to click, which is the Cosmic Power? He pretty freely wins with Clefable at any point in the time if he wants to set up on front of something that can't do anything, like a Choice Locked Zapdos, which it usually is. Reuniclus, he doesn't want to sack it there. Instead, he sacks the Cloyster because
why not? It's a nice shard machine at this point.
But he also sacks Reuniclus for
instead of just
no
sending
reason.
out Ditto
The winner,
at this point. Ditto
or Clefable.
Scarf Ditto can just win the game here.
Yes.
But not Clefable. Cool. Wasn't great. Like, this game's done, save for a crit, but you're gonna you know.
So he's being extra greedy with.
Yeah,
yes.
very greedy.
We'll circle back to this, Greed. But he's letting his Clefable get precariously low on HP.
Just.
He doesn't need to worry about the special attack drops, to be honest, because Zapdos can't take attacks. This isn't going to be able to take attacks. He needs to just heal.
Yeah, you need to heal.
Heal. But no, he's going to keep clicking stored power for no reason. This is just like grinding my teeth because he's letting...
He did click the soft boil. I was... But you needed to
He should be clicking soft boil. Click it in front of the Zapdos, don't let it attack you, and do it twice. Soft boil, but no. Stored power.
Oh, man.
So he's just creating a situation where this Clefable doesn't win. He should have soft-boiled here, but he goes for store power. So this Clefable is about to get eaten by the Hydro Pump, forcing the Ditto here to be able to win on Volt
hope and a
Switches.
prayer.
Volt Switch 1 doesn't do enough, but he's miraculously out of range from this other Volt Switch KOing it. So Tox should have won this 6-0, to be honest.
Instead, we have the 8% Ditto as the last Mon standing on the field.
The second Clefable got the first Cosmic Power in this game, it just won. Because the only answer to that was Spectrier, and then Spectrier wasn't well positioned to come in on a Clefable after it started doing the Cosmic Powers. So I think he should have committed to that early. It was a winning scenario early game. It was a winning scenario late game. He does let his Clefable go down for unknown reasons.
Well, we know reasons that I'm not going to repeat on video. He said exactly what was happening in the match. But
forgot about that. Yeah,
but I'm not gonna. We're not gonna say it on the video. You can scroll up and chat. It's there.
There was an explanation. It was not a good one, but
no, it's pretty good. It makes a lot of sense. Next, we're gonna check out the standings. This is the wrong league. All right, here's our initiate standings. So Gradual is taking sole position as at the top, as they just keeps soaking up wins. Iris also is soaking up wins, just collecting them as they came in, made a rain team, and she's just doing well with that.
Yep.
We have a ton of other 4-2 coaches, and then we have a large body of people in the 3-3 range. So playoffs is still wide open to all of them.
I would say the top 12 teams are entirely and fully alive in the playoff race. You know, the 2 and 4s are going to need to win out most likely, but they're very much still in this.
It's still alive. Emo and Jordan, Emo may actually be out with the diff, unless
the diff.
Your only hope is like if you win
3
out
consecutive 6-0s, more or less. It's tough.
I'm not sure if that gets you there. So Emo may actually be out. Jordan may as well. I don't know. It's really tough. I'm not good at on the fly. Just kind of guessing.
In theory, we can definitely see a 4 and 5 team. And so if he wins like incredibly well, we're talking like 5-0s and 6-0s, which he hasn't necessarily played to that yet. But his team does enable 6-0 wins just because of how tanky and stally it is. He could win 6-0 matches with that kind of team.
Yeah.
So if he closes strong and that 7th seed team is a 4 and 5 team, it could very well be him.
Yeah, so we'll see what they have in store.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at these kill leaders here. We have Nihilego up there. That's kind of cool.
Still sitting there. It's based off, I think, like 2 games, more or less. I think he got like 10 kills in 2 games, and then it hasn't done anything else outside of them, but they were 2 really strong showings.
Everything else kind of makes sense, except for Uniclus, which has reclaimed a spot now that it's got 2 more KOs, so, it's chilling, man. We got a ton of 7-mon kills, or 7 KO mons, between 10 and 16, but you only see top 10 here because Mega Altaria is just awesome enough to only have died once, kind of begs the
which is
question.
Actually fascinating because the
I wonder
is 1 and 5.
I kind of wonder if some of them have been just pegged as Altaria, like if you switch in and it dies, or you pick it up as Altaria.
You know what? You're probably right. That tracks.
Like it's got to be more than 1 death. Like.
But good on you, Mega Altaria. So when you Mega, you do really well.
Yeah, that's it. You just got a Mega. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna pop back over to our recap. We're gonna move into Gary. Check out this Disciple. So this first match, you can see the mons, but this is our featured match. So we'll go into that in a little more detail here in a few minutes, but we're going to check out these other matches. So the first match we're going to look at is here we have Orin Latios' Sacramento Kingdras going up against the Tentacruel Pirates, coached by TJS. On the Sacramento side, we have Mega Altaria, Necrozma, Canian, Barakian, Corviknight, and the Hisuian Electrode.
I love that the Hisuian Electrode comes, even though it's a bad Pokemon objectively. I appreciate its appearances all the same.
It's here, man.
Yeah, on TGS's side, though, we've got the Dracopult, the Mega Blastoise, the Deoxys Defense, the Donphan, the Togekiss, and the Ferrothorn.
So, alright, so this is a 5v6
Special
matchup.
Altaria pops, like Hyper Voice, Flamethrower, Toxic, just is impossible for DJS to deal with this team.
That's really hard to switch into. Maybe Spadef, Deoxys Defense, but you're right. You just throw Toxic, and your last move on Altaria can even be like Roost or...
Yep.
Depending.
I mean, I speak from experience, having been running that set very frequently in a league of just 2-attack Toxic Roost, and that can just break teams down because there's not really a lot of switch-ins to that. If they have the bulk to take the Hyper Voice Flamethrower combo, they don't have the ability to withstand the Toxic spam. So I'm hoping that's what shows him. I don't recall what he brought, but that to me pops.
Instead, what we see is Dragapult popping off.
Yeah, I think Dragapult pops.
One D-Dance, and if Altaria is low enough, a Phantom Force can like damage.
Phantom Force, Steel Wing. You'd really the Dracopult if it's a physical set.
I want to say this was a Steel Wing week.
That or just Spec Shadow Ball. There's actually no switch into Ghost. So if it was just like a Spec Shadow Ball, that's just smacking damage too.
I think what happened at the beginning of this, if I'm remembering correctly, is Volcanion just kind of like tries to open up the match, and it looks like it's going well, but it's one of those things where it kind of like exhausts the team, and then it lets something like Dragapult in for free because it's like Spec's Steam Eruption, and like it took some damage. I want to say I could be wrong. I may be misremembering, but
no, that sounds familiar.
Alright, next up we have the Columbus Chandlers, coached by HJJ No, going up against the Chelsea Chestnuts, coached by Waka. Take a look at the mons that have been brought.
Waka.
Another. First we have on HJJ's side, we have the Tapu Koko, the Blissey, Mandibuzz, Silvally, Excadrill, and Gengar.
And then on Waka's side, we've got the Urshifu Single Strike, I believe.
Yes, it is.
The Rillaboom, the Mega Diancie, the Noivern, the Galarian Slowking, and the Audino. So the double regen core, especially Spadef leaning, is just brutal for HJJ to have to break with the team he has. Because Coco isn't going to be able to push through one of those, let alone two of those, the Slowking and the Audino. Blissey's not going to get any momentum. Gengar can pop as like a spec set if he gets the right button clicks and hits the focus blasts on Audino.
Yeah.
But that's still a very tough ask. And then Excadrill has a tough time getting good damage on the Rillaboom plus Noivern because
it's really hard.
He has to basically just keep clicking Iron Head. Actually, Iron Head does pop here. Iron Head is a free to click. There is no resist. So if Excadrill can get Iron Head spam going, it can actually break through the team a little bit. But it's tough to do.
It's really hard. Yeah, Mega Diancie and Slowking.
It's the line.
This just you just kind of held, and once Excadrill, if it's it's not sand, so you just figure out if it's Scarf or not, and then like how safe Mega Diancie is on it, because with a little bit of chip, Earth Power always KOs. And Mandibuzz doesn't want to switch in on it. You can run mixed with Diamond Storm for Blissey, so like then you're left with I don't remember what form of Silvally this was, but like Silvally Steel, Silvally Water, it doesn't matter. Like you only get so many switch-ins no matter the form. Just really tough. So really well done, Waka. Okay, next we have the Tennessee type Knowles, coached by Zeke. Going up against the Arkham City Delibirds, coached by A12. So when we take a look at Pokemon spoilers here, one of them is going to be a Hisuian Zoroark because that's just how Zeke rolls. So we have the Hisuian Zoroark, Landorus Therian, Mega Absol, Zeraora, Florges, and Melodic.
And then on A12 side, we've got the Galarian Zapdos, the Pincurchin, the Crobat, the Mega Wizard, the Gliscor, and the Grimmsnarl. So Gliscor is actually quite a bit of trouble for this team to deal with. Maybe this was the Ice Beam matchup for this. I feel like this was the week he brought Ice Beam Mega Absol to try to deal with the Gliscor.
Yeah, you need that, or you need Melodic, like a Burn Orb Melodic, just so you don't get toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like, Spadef Florges is like your best Zard Y switch in, so that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and Wizard can really it can really kind of break through Florges still, despite how bulky on the Spadef side Florges is.
Flamethrower in the sun is, but there's still plenty of play. Like on the other side, like Zeraora, I don't think Zeraora can ever break through Urchin.
Or Gliscor. It has literally nothing for Gliscor.
If Gliscor gets the Toxic Orb off, then it's sitting pretty. So maybe you may also need some Zoroark plays here.
I feel like this might have been the week Pincurchin popped, and it was.
Yeah. Look at that, 4 KOs. If you need an MVP of the week, there you go.
Gary popping off in Gary div. I respect it.
Well done.
I believe what happened was that he just got some scalds on things he needed to scald, and then there came a point where I think it even had Rising Voltage. It might have been specs too. So like Rising Voltage plus Volt Switch just started smacking.
Yeah. Alright, let's take a look at this next match here. St. Louis Shroomish, coached by Helix Fossil, going up against the Phoenix Solgaleos, coached by DD12345. So here on the Shroomish side, we have Buzzwole, Mega Gallade, Rotom-Mow, Incineroar, Nidoking, and Hisuian Goodra.
And then on DD's side, we've got the Megalop, the Kyurem, the Thundurus, the Seismitoad, the Clefable, and the Xatu.
Xatu, hooray! Oh,
I'm looking at team preview.
Honestly.
But I just don't even see where it pops here. It like has nothing it handles in this matchup at all. It just looks like it's sack at that point. Maybe like a lead tricker to trick on something.
Or you get like 3 Cosmic Powers up.
Yeah.
Work. 3 Cosmic Powers? I think so. Yeah, I don't remember the full 10v10, so there may be other stuff. It can switch in on Buzzwole pretty well, as long as like you don't get the Stone Edge to the.
Yeah.
Or even like a Banded Leech, that could be problems too. Or the
this
dark
team
coverage. Okay, like he has coverage. Just don't get hit by a coverage move.
Exactly. DD's gonna have a tough time with the Hisuian Goodra, it looks like, in this matchup. You know, if you're not Earthquake Seismitoad, if you're not getting free opportunities for Lopunny to click close combat, Goodra just kind of clicks buttons here. There's not really a safe switch in for Goodra.
It's a good week for Teleport Clefable, so like if you know Hisuian Goodra or Nidoking's coming in, you can just teleport in to Lopunny or Kyurem and just feel pretty good about that. And it doesn't really matter because it's a 5-0 for the Shroomish. Able to take it off of back of everything, honestly. It's just a hard matchup.
Unsurprisingly, you know, the Nidoking and the Goodra pop off the most because they have the greatest coverage to just hit everything for good damage. So every time Nidoking sees the field in front of something like Clefable or even Thundurus, it gets to smack for damage. Goodra gets to click buttons pretty freely. Rotom-Mow, if Kyurem isn't safe enough to switch in, can start generating momentum. So no surprises what popped. Maybe a little surprising his fighting types didn't get to contribute all that much, but
they could have broken too.
Yeah,
like one or two close combats from either of them, and Thundurus isn't tanking them. Xatu struggles too. Like Xatu, like, cool, you switched into a close combat from Mega Blade and took 20%. well, that knockoff's coming, and you're gonna die. So
Yeah.
it's really tough. So, but good job for Felix. Next, we have the Waikato Chestnuts, coached by our Liger, going up against Moody Marshadow, coached by Bloop.
Bloop.
Take a look at what they brought. Here on the Liger side, we have Landorus, Primarina, Mega Scissor, Zelf, click off the screen.
Oh, that's me. Whoops.
Yeah. We have the Azelf, Rotom Fan, and the Komo'o.
And then on Bloop's side, we've got the Zygarde, the Zoroark, the Tapu Fini, who is spelled just a little bit different this time than it was earlier, the Vikavolt, the Skarmory, and the Mega Audino. Pretty tough time handling Zygarde here long term, especially if it's a coil set, because Scizor is like the one switch in, but if Scizor stops losing the ability to break subs, then the game can quickly get out of hand.
Well, it all depends. It still needs sub though, because Primarina and Azelf will murder it. Like,
oh, absolutely.
But
sub coil,
yeah,
1,000 arrows, toxic or something else is just really tough to deal with. Or just Dragon Dance can go pretty crazy too if Scizor takes chip too early in the game.
But like, it's also pretty tough. Like, on the other hand too, like, what's your like Landorus switch in here? Vikavolt, Rock Slide, hurts.
Mega uninvolved or Skarmory is actually fine. It has to be a gravity set for Skarmory to be pressured by Landorus.
Yeah.
So if Landorus doesn't run that or needs some time to run that, then you can kind of pivot between that and the Audino and just try to keep it in check long enough. Como is pretty scary though. If it gets rolling a little bit.
Yeah, Zelf is a little scary too. Like a Life Orb set here, I just feel like can do a lot of breaking if you ever get the predict wrong on what move it's gonna use. Like, I'm not sure if it has the right coverage though to break Mega Audino, so that may actually it's not true. But let's take a look at our results here. We 6-0.
Team effort.
Yeah, team effort too.
By everything except for the Landorus. His best piece was the least contributing.
This was just a highly pivoting match, and you could see the HP start to drop on the opposing mons, and Audino was never able to wish past to keep it up effectively. Fini never had a chance to set up. It was just a really hard match, and it was a really well done by Liger and the slow burn pivoting in and out to get the KOs he needed.
I feel like at one point he had a Swords Dance on the Scizor he was able to get going because Skarmory finally got low enough for that to pop off.
Yeah.
Because Skarmory is really the only thing stopping Swords Dance Scizor from winning, and specifically phasing Skarmory. If it's not phasing Skarmory, it can just get beaten by Swords Dance Scizor as well. So, unsurprising to see the pieces were able to contribute all around. If Liger generates enough momentum and his team does pivot quite well, 5 of the 6 can pivot, then if Audino can't wish pass, it falls apart quickly.
Right. So well done, Liger. Let's take a look here at the last match before we get to our featured match. We have the Seattle's Chandlers, coached by Dashing Sceptile, going up against the Dallas High Horsepower, coached by Shark Finnegan. Let's take a look here. On Dashing side, we have the Keldeo, Mega Garchomp, Victini, Aegislash, Enamorus, and Tyranitar.
And then on Shark's side, we've got the Scrafty, we've got the Ursaluna, the Latias, the Manaphy, the Raikou, and the Sylveon.
Is it Latias? No, it used to be Latios. No. Never mind. Ignore all that. Okay, so taking a look at this here,
so Latias has the moves to pop, especially like an Expert Belt set, in my opinion. Bolt Beam is really great. Bolt Beam, Aura Sphere, and then Shadow Ball hits everything for super effective damage.
Who needs stab?
I mean, that's the fun thing about the Latios, and I've done this before in other leagues with Latios, is you don't need to force yourself to run stab. Just give them all the coverage they need, usually bolt beam plus a couple of other moves, give them the expert belt to make up for the lost stab damage, and
You're
just
usually
keep hitting things for super
fine,
effective
yeah.
damage.
Yeah, but there, it's not all fun and games. CLDL looks really good. Like Ursaluna though, just looks really good here. Like, does it have a dark move?
Ursaluna
It
has...
doesn't really have a ground move, to speak, right?
It has high horsepower.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then
Yeah.
I just like.
Which is a little unfortunate here over Earthquake, because high horsepower is a contact move, so IG Slash is a little better suited to check Ursaluna.
If you burn yourself, then it's like you get 2 attacks before you're down below your initial.
Actually, and it's a 140 to start with, so it's always hurting.
Yeah, so this is really hard to switch in. Like if you can get a free chance to just get attacks off with the Ursaluna, either on the Aegislash or Tyranitar, it's looking tough, but there's a lot of setup from Dashing side that it's like go ham. Like
Yeah.
Automize weakness policy, Aegislash can really pop off here. Like a sub Garchomp can if you're not careful with getting Manaphy in. So it's really tough.
A lot to watch out for.
Yeah, it's a 3-0 for Seattle. Scarf Keldeo is also pretty good here. You just like upturn, get stuff in. Yeah, it's just. I think this is always going to be a really tough matchup for Shark, especially as we start going through it.
I mean, Victini is just really tough to deal with. Even if Victini only claims 1 kill, it basically forces Manaphy into taking massive damage early. Enamorus has all the coverage because it always has all the coverage.
Yeah, so it's just a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna switch over here to our game of the week. This is Frandy going up against Black, and let's take a look at what they brought. Frandy's brought the Superior, the Crocodile, the Lycanroc, the Zapdos, Vigoroth, right? It's a little Vigoroth, and Mega Mawile. Yeah, Vigoroth. All right.
It is Vigoroth making potentially its first ever appearance in any draft league for standard format.
Yeah.
If this isn't low tier or like no tier, it's pretty hard to ever find a situation for Vigoroth. So this could be historic, this game, for all we know. But on Black side, we've got the Rotom Heat, the Mew, the Hydreigon, the Nidoqueen, I believe that's Mega Aerodactyl, and the Suicune.
Let's pop in. Let's see what happens. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So we have a Lycanroc going up against the Nidoqueen, and
big crit.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice crit.
Basically gets the Nidoqueen into 2 KO range. He gets the rocks up, which is really nice for dictating some of the momentum throughout that game.
Oh, to see a knockoff here.
It's a pretty free click. He doesn't take it. That is just a fat Suicune.
But it's Vigoroth time. Yeah, all right.
Body slam, fish for those paralysis.
Encore, yes. There it is.
I mean, Vigoroth is just one of those Pokemon you know is trash, but if you see it in team preview, it's just terrifying because
like,
you have no idea.
What does it even do?
There's no consideration for what kind of moveset this Vigoroth is going to have because it's just not a Pokemon you prepare for.
A little bit of scouting there is you went for the Nasty Plot, but you found out the Vigoroth's faster, so you gotta switch out. And you switch into Crocodile. Because that Encore was still coming. So.
Yeah, and then you just get shut down as the Rotom. So that Encore is proving problematic already to Black because he's got a couple of pieces that want to set up here with the Rotom and the Suicune that
can't. There's the slack off.
So this is just anti-setup, which is great because Encore goes through sub, so Suicune can't sub setup.
And this is tough.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically in a position where you need to avoid getting Encore to death. At least it only has a limited number of PP, and Suicune's pressure does keep it in check.
8 or 16? It's only
8.
8. Very, very timely burn. This Vigoroth is just a menace. Yeah, now you can just keep roaring though. Like, roar.
I mean, the Suicune can't output enough damage. Eventually you start getting Aerodactyl turns and things like that, but not a bad decision to go with the Zapdos. You know, Nidoqueen doesn't have the health to switch in.
Yeah, and you know, all these things are taking damage, and maybe he'll defog for you, maybe not. It's a good time to slack off here, because this isn't doing anything to you.
Nope. Suicune keeps getting rocks damage, and Suicune actually is getting worn down because it can keep getting roared out before it can get its health recovered from leftovers.
And then there's the rest. So you scouted out the third move here. But
if this was like a U-turn or a Volt Switch Zapdos, he really could be controlling this game a little more, just because he's getting these free turns in front of Rotom, but he's forced to pivot into Vigoroth, which gives the free pain split for the Rotom, which just prevents him from getting that needed momentum.
yeah,
Serp comes in, and I'll hard predict that he goes to something that can
like
handle
Nidoqueen.
Vigoroth.
And
Yeah.
perfect. Force in the Rotom Heat again.
Force switch to Krook.
Something else is down, and I'm wondering if this is an AV Krook. They're taking like no damage there.
Yeah, that's not a lot of chip at all.
And it isn't doing any damage. Like, look at that.
Good knockoff
Alright.
here.
Yep. Leftovers are gone.
So the Suicune is more or less on a timer for switch ins.
Good slack off.
Yeah, I just keep slacking off. Leave a hard switch to something here. Probably should have gone the Krook in my opinion, because he knew it was likely to be a pain split situation. But this is fine too. Rotom's going for those.
Nice little shot here. Oh, and then the overheat miss. That's rough.
Vigoroth doing the great work, managing to keep this Rotom heat from pop. Oh, and then he prevents the pain split or anything like that.
That's a
so
nice
that he
little
ensures
play. That is a nice
because it's
play.
It forces the Rotom to sack itself to KO a Vigoroth, and Vigoroth has done more than enough in this match.
Yeah, so I really like that play, actually.
Good scout by Frandy to scout for Will-O-Wisp on a Mew. So he's able to confirm it's a bulky set without losing his Mawile's potency.
Now you've toxic the Mew while being burned yourself. Like,
yeah, so really good sequence by Frandy there to entirely nullify the Mew and put it on a timer.
That's pretty next level, actually. Like, when good prep meets good play. And it's not like Black is really making any wrong choices here. I really like the Willow Mew up against the...
All the sets are right. All the plays are right. I mean, he sub setup does really well against this team that Frandy has, except for the fact that this Encore Vigoroth is such a nuisance to prevent it from being successful.
Yeah. So, the sack Zappy time. But yeah, but Zappy doesn't die. Oh no.
He's another toxic. So really what Frandy just needs to be careful of as he's getting towards this end game is not being too frail to handle the Mega Aerodactyl, because that's the piece he needs to be able to shut down.
And as long as you have basically your full health while you're feeling okay.
Exactly.
And alright. Yep. Good trade here. Dactyl
comes into play. You're fine sacking your Krook here because you need to do that to create a safe window for the Mega Mawile for the Intimidate. Because if it comes back in from rocks again, the Mega Aerodactyl, it's probably in Sucker Punch range.
Yeah, absolutely.
Critical Play Rough hits. You need the Play Rough to hit. It's very, very crucial.
And it's fine because...
I believe it's going to be Dragon Pulse Superior to close it out, because that's a really helpful that's a really helpful move every now and again. And it definitely was the difference here. So great win by Frandy. Really well executed.
Just was here to play.
Looks stupid. if you tell someone you're going to bring a Vigoroth to the match, they're going to judge you, but you made it really shine the way it needed to shine.
MVP for the week. So well done. Vigoroth's probably making the thumbnail. It has to. Like,
It's not a Pokemon we're probably ever. We played a lot of draft matches. I've watched over 1,000 draft matches probably at this point.
I've never
First
even
time
seen it picked up, honestly, other than maybe
No,
pick up.
Yeah, like a 1 point or 2 point or whatever it is. Like, I'm out of points, but I don't care anymore. I want something fun on my team, kind of situation.
Yeah.
So, fun time.
Right, let's take a look at our standings here. So after that loss, now we have like a two-way race for first place between Frandy and Black. Black's still a little bit ahead in terms of differential, because differential is our first tiebreak. It's not head-to-head. So for seeding purposes, Black is still ahead for now. But the records are all tied up, and you still have we have a lot of 4-2 teams. Actually, we have 5 of them. My goodness. So that's looking like your playoff makers right now. A couple 3-win teams and then 2 2-win teams. So I think as of right now, Columbus Chandlers are out of the playoff race, but this was a replacement coach who came in on like an 0-3 team. So
yeah,
there's only so much you can
do. It was always
I
just hasn't been able to vibe with it, unfortunately.
Shark and Bloop may also be out, but they're gonna need, like, if they want a chance, they gotta win out and hope other people also start losing too, and no one else starts winning too much, which I don't know how possible that is, because I don't know the rest of the matchups for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but that's kind of where they're at right now. Like, and for 2 and 4, just win out and you should make playoffs. Like, your diffs are fine.
Yeah,
if you
these are all very salvageable diffs for the 2 and 4 teams. So just get the wins in, and the playoffs should follow.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the kill leaders here. Hisui and Zoroark is at top, my man.
He's committed. He's making it happen, and I respect it.
Got Mega Garchomp, Keldeo next, Hydreigon up there, Urshmoney, great. Diggersby's up there. That's awesome. Love that mon.
If you look at 8-12 squad, that's like really his best attacker. Like he has a peculiar team, and that is well positioned to shine.
It's like memes meet dreams. Yeah, we got one more 8-mon or 8KO mon chilling, and Nidoking at 11, but he dies too many times, so sorry bud, get out of here.
Yeah, Nidoking is very good at being like, I'm going to get 2 KOs a match and then be a useful sack so you can come in with the last couple of pieces to win the game. That's like Nidoking's prime function. Like Mega Mawile a little bit. Just, it's really reliable for 1 or 2 KOs, but really, really good at dying afterwards.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to pop back into our recaps now, and we're going to hit the last and certainly least league. Master. We're gonna hit up Larry. So up first is your match. The Potown Puikamuku's going up against the Miami Delphox. Let's see what you guys brought. Mr. McGee, what did you bring?
I got my Landorus, my Cinderace, my Mega Mawile, my Roserade, my Slowbro, and an Umbreon.
And then here on the Miami Delphox side, we have the Dragapult, Landorus Therian, Suian Lilligant, Mega Pidgeot, Melmetal, and Flareon. I guess Flareon just sits in front of like Roserade or something. I don't know.
Roserade and Cinderace to a degree can.
Oh yeah,
I think
Cinderace. That mod.
So I had a window here. I brought a somewhat exciting Landorus set. I had a Landorus set with a Adrenaline Orb just to try to, because the best answer to my Landorus was his Landorus, in fact. Yeah. So my hope was to get the Adrenaline Orb procced while I Calm Minded and go for a sweep, because after a Calm Mind or two, he doesn't really have a safe answer at that point, and I have the speed to work with if it's not Scarf Lilligant.
Yeah, which I think he's like almost running exclusively banned to Lilligant because everything dies.
Exactly, ban plus hustle just equals death. So I think what I needed to do here, especially because it's FAC, and your best chance against FAC is winning turn 1 sometimes, and so I just needed to lead that and just see if he led his Landorus and go for broke on turn 1. I don't. I think I do something more conservative, and that's going to be the costly play for me. Is I just don't get on offense early enough, and he breaks.
Yeah, and then eventually Dragapult's able just to clean up.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Maw down, even Umbreon to an extent can only check Dragapult. It can't. It's not a counter, so.
No, and yeah.
Like after a D-Dance or two, if Umbreon's damaged, it's not holding it back anymore.
Not at all.
So, well done,
Yeah,
FAC. Bullying McGee once again.
Some things never change.
That's okay. Huiku bullies me. It's fine.
You get it. You get it.
Yeah. Alright, next here we have the Cozy Charmanders, coached by Jack Knopf.
Not.
Like, I realize
it's not Jack Knopf. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on.
No.
I'm gonna change this because, like, we're gonna do this one on the fly. Let me. Like, we'll see this change in real time. So we go to.
This counts as an introduction, right? We're gonna change his image.
God, he really gets what he wants. I can't believe it. So. That. Bring everything. May I introduce GDP?
And his slippery superiors.
Yeah. We are going to add in his thing, his picture. I don't know where he found it, but it's actually a nice picture. Superior. Honest.
Good old Serp.
I like Superior. I just feel bad for, is it Snivy? Is that the baby? I think so.
Snivy is the baby. Yeah. And then Servine.
Just like, hey, look at me. I
has
have
hands and feet, and then they disappear.
Like slowly, like it goes like, like it's not like even the middle evolution has
Yeah, they're like little T-Rex.
Yeah,
at that
it's
point.
just I feel so bad. It's like, come on. All right, there we go. It's loaded up. So this is the Slippery Superiors, coached by GDP, coming up against the South Bend Snoms, coached by Wombat, baby. So let's see what was brought. This is Urshifu Money, but it's Doug Trio, Ursh Money, Delphox, Fable, Mega Blastoise, and Glow King.
And then on Wombat side, we've got the Mega Altaria, the Jirachi, the Ursaluna, the Tornti, the Keldeo, and the Cleavor.
So right off the bat, this match had a pretty cool. It's not super spicy, but it's just we had Focus Sash Cleaver, go for the close combat against the Urshifu, and it took out the Urshifu turn 1.
Oh, that's right, because Urshifu, it's a really good bait one, and then if you can actually KO something immediately, like on a switch in or something like that, you don't get revenge killed by the Doug Trio because you got the Sash to work with. So it's a good way of getting a lot of utility out of Cleavor, but a great lead off.
Yeah, and like it's able to take it down. Eventually Torn goes down, but Jirachi's just able to clean up eventually. I mean, it's just a really hard match for GDP. Ursaluna, like, freely clicks buttons once Ursh is down, and like as long as you're not in on Blastoise, like nothing is gonna kill you. I think we saw Giga Impact Ursaluna to get the final
we
KO
did.
Looking.
I forgot about that. That was pretty great, actually.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's a nuke.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's something where it will absolutely remove Glow King, and like once Glow King's down, CLDL has a much freer time. Like everything starts to open up. Like, so this is an instance where it may just be worthwhile to click it, and either that or the clef goes down, and you're feeling pretty good.
Exactly.
So well done. Welcome to the league, GDP. Let's move on. Next we have, this is our featured match, right?
It is our featured match.
All right, cool. It's the Thunders from Down Under, coached by Sparky, going up against the West Virginia Wingles, coached by Fancify. So skipping that for now, we next have the Republic City Fire Ferrets, coached by Cloud9, going up against Flight Club, coached by Cats. Let's see what they brought. On Claude's side, we have the Alolan Persian, Mega Scissor, Abominable, Tapu Fini, Spectrier, and Garchomp.
And then on Cat's side, we've got the Hydreigon, the Mega Diancie, the Aegislash, the Moltres, the Vaporeon, and the Raikou. Really tough team for Claude to break through, actually. You know, Scizor has a tough time with Vaporeon and Moltres. Persian Alola is not doing anything notable to things like Vaporeon or Moltres other than toxicking them. Crabominable is a meme that he's trying to get some KOs with. Spectrier has a hard time with Hydreigon, so it's really hard for Claude to get on offense outside of Garchomp. Really needs Garchomp to take off.
Yeah, this is just a hard match. This is where you maybe should have just left Crab at home and brought something real.
Fake Crab.
Because Spec is fine if you get the Hydra down and like Fini takes it out for whatever reason, you know, like Spec does pretty well actually. So I respect the Spec bring. Crab's stupid here. It's so hard to get it off the ground. And yeah, 4 KOs for Aegislash. I think this was a setup Aegislash, so it really got going, and
yeah,
there's nothing here to really take hits either. Like Scissor.
No, Persian's a physical wall, and if you have the speed, then you're just kind of blasting through everything. Or actually, it might have been Specs and just getting lots of free turns, because Scizor gives it a free turn, Fini gives it free attack turns, Crabominable gives it free attack turns.
Yeah, it may have. I don't remember. But Cats has been in and out with the setup all season, so I don't remember exactly what she brought, but it's tough. I think Crab just went down for nothing this game to even better. Didn't even get an attack off.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Alright, next we have Dick and Paul's, coached by Frosteye, going up against Living Like Larry, coached by Phil. So here on Frosteye's team, we have the Deoxys Speed, Mega Garchomp, Crobat, Suicune, Kartana, and Silvally.
And then on Phil's side, we've got the Celesteela, the Aerodactyl, the Zygarde, the Kabutops, the Hisuian Decidueye, and the Politoed. Rain does kind of pop here if he's able to get it going.
Yeah, Suicune's your one and only hold off here, but Kabutops can always Stone Edge after a Sword Stance. And I don't know, Suicune may struggle to tank that. It's just hard.
Oh yeah.
So let's see what happened here. And this was a really, really close match, actually. Celesteela is able to take it just barely, because I think it came down to Theo speed up against the Celesteela at the end. It was just tanky enough to not die, get the KO
Oh,
back.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it was a really, really close match. I'd recommend checking it out. This was pretty good.
Hisuian Decidueye getting some KOs. It was fun to see. Hasn't really had a chance to show it much this season because it's not that good of a Pokemon.
It gets 2 here. Okay, up next we have the Alberta Surge, coached by Huiku, coming up against the New Jersey Origin, coached by K-King. See what was brought. Here on Huiku's side, we have the Rotom Wash, the Zapdos Scalar, Bronzong, Nidoking, Tapu Koko, and Mega Audino.
And then on K-King's side, we got the Zeraora, the Mega Aggron, the Latios, the Donphan, and the Dragalge, and the Urshifu Rapid Strike.
Or just RS for short.
So there's not a great answer to Zero Aura from Huiku's side. Nidoking is a
Ye-
limited switch-in mon because it's
Yeah,
just so frail.
Nido Queen it's like that's the difference in bulk between the two. Is Nido Queen with the
Mm.
Black Sludge is actually a pretty great switch in.
Hmm.
But like Nido King just doesn't, like, you're gonna lose your life orb. You're down 30% damage. It's a struggle. Mega Audino may be your best bet, but that may also just invite like a sub setup or sub toxic even. Like
Or
there's
force an early Mega Evolution to avoid the close combat, and so you lose some switch around utility with Mega Audino. So it can force your hand with the Mega Audino early.
Yeah.
Latios is a button clicker here. There's not a lot to switch in on that other than the Mega Audino. But if you're again a sub setup set, it can really pop off. Urshifu
Rapid,
doesn't
like,
has no switch in, especially if it's banded.
yeah. So that's really tough. Or you just gotta guess right between, is it close combat or is it
Yeah.
surging strikes? And just barely able to take it is K-King. I don't remember the specifics of this, except for maybe being frustrated with how like the last 3 or 4 turns went. But maybe that
Yeah.
was K-King in another league? Sorry.
I'm not sure.
I think this
I-
is one where like the last few turns were just awfully weird.
I think he had to navigate his Mega Aggron to a specific win condition against, I think, might have been either the Galarian Zapdos or the Tapu Koko, where it needed to not be taking too much chip. It might have even survived a close combat from the Zapdos at one point to win the game. Actually, that might have been the final turn.
Yeah, I think that might have been. So could just be projecting, but that's a really well done. It gives Huiku his first loss, and we'll see how that does for the New Jersey standings. So let's take
Alongside the loss by Black, that was actually the
a last
both our
undefeated
undefeated
coach.
team. Yeah, so though no undefeated teams this season, which is I guess exciting to see. Seems to be
Yeah.
pretty solid parity.
Only one winless team left. We're rooting for them to get a win this week. All right, so up next is my match, Canberra Charizards, coached by Sammy, coming up against my team, the Columbus Gallade, coached by me. You want to introduce Canberra's team?
Absolutely. Sammy C's team, we've got the Necrozma, the Enamorous Therian, the garbage one, Greninja, Heatran, Megalopony, and the Zapdos.
And on my side, we have the Mega Gallade, Melodic, Alolan Muck, Rotom Heat, Bliskor, and Shaman. Right off the bat, Mega Lopunny's a problem. I don't have anything great on my team that can really like hold it back. So like
Flame Orb Milotic is your best, but like that's still a pretty limited answer. More of a check than a counter.
And I think I even went against it because without it, like there were some like Scarf Heatran sets that like started really kind of running me amok. So like, because I went for an offensive sub NP Rotom Heat, which what was poised to do really well until Ancient Power Zapdos just killed the sub and killed all the fun.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Really spicy.
So that was really cool to see from Sammy, and like Rotom Heat just had just little enough HP. Like it was right 2 or 3% under the threshold to die from the close combat when Mega Lopunny then came out.
Jeez.
Yeah, look at Lop. 4 KOs here.
Yeah, Lop just kind of popped.
Necrozma had a few turns like to get some Calm Minds up where I just wasn't really able to do too much to it except for like hope for like some poison for Muck, and like when he KO'd something it'd be low enough for Mega Gallade to get the kill, and it did off of a very lucky crit. So like I was able to save diff, but I was never in a position to actually win unless Sammy threw the game. Like
he didn't.
No. I actually played it really, really well at the end there. So really well done. It was just superb showing from Sammy C. But
well done.
Yeah, we're gonna pop now into our featured match for the week. Thunder's Down Under us, going against Fancyfy. So On Thunderous side, we have the Rillaboom, we have the Regieleki, Zoroark, the Corviknight, the Dracovish, and Palisand.
And then, my game go. And then on Fancify side, we've got the Amoonguss, the Volcanion, the Thunderous Therian, the Goodra, the Swampert, and then the Pelipper.
All right,
pretty scary
so
rainbow here.
Yeah, this is but you know the rain also boosts a certain move from Dracovish.
Indeed. So you're putting a lot of pressure on your Volcanion to switch in frequently to that.
How does... Well, not in rain, obviously, but outside of rain, I'd imagine Amoonguss can tank it.
Amoonguss is actually quite capable of tanking it.
In rain, I'm not sure about that.
No, in rain, not even Toxapex can handle it. So no, it's not an answer in rain. But thankfully, he does have a stop to just Vicious Rin spam.
So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, get it. So lead Regieleki, baby.
Grass Knot, good click.
Yeah.
Trying to bait out the Swamp.
I don't like the Life Orb. Like, maybe you needed it for damage calcs, but like, it gives away the Zoroark immediately.
Yeah, I mean, you played hard for trying to get the Swampert out on turn 1 with
Very
the
lucky,
Regieleki.
very lucky. Paralysis, actually.
Oh yeah, because this lets Hax Monkey do Hax Monkey things like click Swords Dance
For free. And this is
and now there's no switch in. It's a sack. It's a sack.
Something has to die.
Just so that the
maybe this Amoonguss had clear smog. Maybe it didn't. We don't know.
And Goodra just has just enough bulk to survive that.
Yeah, if it was one of the degens had that Goodra, it would have been crit, right? By the way.
Oh yeah, gone, insta. You know, Sparky stays in, hoping that it's not that, but it being Scarf, Volcanion is fine for him. You think the burn is bad, but then you realize this doesn't actually matter because it's special attack.
In case you forget, it's a fossil. Here's its Meteor Beam. And just... Oh, what do you do? What do you do at this point?
It's just, you've given it rain, you've given it has a special attack boost. It's a pretty tough thing to deal with.
You don't have enough.
I'm actually surprised he clicks Liquidation in this situation, because it could, you know, it has every reason to be a Water Absorb Dracovish. Yeah. So I think that's what Sparky goes for the call there. And it is.
Look, it gets
so he's just... I think he's just going to click Hydro Pump here because it's rain, so it still does giga damage. Yeah.
53% resist. Woo. Yeah, so this is...
Speedy Pelipper.
Kind of yeah, and you're fine with it because Palisand, I guess. I think a Swampert isn't going to do all that much. 24.
Off a critical hit, it's gonna KO.
Yeah, never mind. So this is getting a little scary, and I don't think it needed to be. Sacking Rillaboom turned out to be a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, tough time there. Big turn with the Regieleki getting the right click here. Body Slam does, in fact, get the KO. And then I don't...
Regieleki, I think, is fast.
So,
yeah.
Regieleki, and I'm sure he ran this on purpose, Regieleki with a timid nature, or, you know, whatever, a speed nature, outspeed, Swampert in rain guaranteed. So he was able to
Swampert
ensure that Swampert was... Yeah.
524, and it's 548 for...
Yeah, so he was able to ensure Regieleki always gets to get an attack in there, and I think it's physical.
Wild. That's just wild.
Yeah.
It's so fast, man. 200 speed. It's make-believe.
Yep. Sometimes you forget how fast it is until you need to outspeed it, and then you realize it's impossible and give up.
And just for reference, since I have it up, it's only running 168 speed.
Just, geez. So it's still good. I mean, not that it has much to do with its other extra EVs, but just the fact that it has them and still that many to work with is insane.
Yeah.
To outspeed something in rain.
So well done, and Fancify almost pulled it back. So mad props.
Yeah,
To
very
them
close
as
game.
Well. I'm gonna pop back over to here. So that's all that we have for week 6. We're getting into the final couple weeks here before we. Oh wait, standings. Ah, thought I'd forget.
Yes.
Thought I'd forget, and we're almost.
Do we need
right.
to go over standing? Worst div?
Probably. We'll hear about it
Wow.
otherwise.
Wow. This is some wonky standings, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So taking a look here, I think there's one. Gotta check. So at top we have 3, 5, and 1 team. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I like to see it.
It's one of those leagues where the top teams are looking really strong. There's a lot of parity in the middle, and there's a couple of stinkers down low right now that just aren't getting the wins. But it's looking very likely like a 4 and 5 team definitely can sneak into playoffs here.
Yeah, it's starting to look like that. We have a couple of 2 and 4 teams here, and like your mileage will vary on these teams.
Yeah. You know,
So-
as a 2 and 4 team, I definitely have the gift still to save my season where I can get myself into a 5 and 4, 4 and 5 spot, and then, you know, might just survive off a diff. You and GDP and K King are probably gonna need some strong wins in the final weeks just to have favorable enough diff.
Yeah.
But you're not. But by no means you're out of the running. Like, you're still very much alive. And then Phil actually won too. So Phil is 2 and 4. It's not input because he beat Frost
It is
Eye.
input. I'm just checking one thing real quick because I gotta fix it. I think it's this one. Yeah. There we go. Everything should update. Thought it would. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. Whatever. Yeah, so he's 2 and 4, so he should be right below
He
you
did.
in
Yep, it's
terms of
updated.
standings.
Yep.
Alright.
There he is.
There it is. He's right behind you. But like all the 2 and 4 teams have a real shot to make playoffs. They just gotta win out.
Yeah. Claude probably needs to fall down a bit, and then someone like Wombat or Sammy or Cats or needs to drop down a little bit as well. The 5 and 1 teams I think can punch their tickets for playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're in.
More than likely, unless they
Their
show
dips are real high,
really
too.
hard.
The
Yeah.
dips are real high too. So I think they're just fine.
Yeah.
Taking a look at the KO leaderboard, it's like actually a top 10. There's a pretty big drop off from 10 to 11. Goes
Oh
from
wow,
9
there
KOs
is.
to 6.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
But like everything here makes sense to me. Like Dragapult, Gyapdos, Megalop, Garchomp, Spectrier, Melmetal. Like look at all these. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
No odd mons. Boring.
Fightings and dragons dominating. We got Garchomp on there 2 different times.
Yeah.
1 dragon, 2 dragon, 3 dragon, 4 dragon, 1 fighting, 2 fighting. The dragon's got it by 1 right now. No surprise.
Well, no surprise. Okay, so now we've looked at standings. Now we can bring this to a close.
Yes.
If you've been watching this whole time, thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you having here. I'm just gonna I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna end this quick. I've been Dr. Geo, so thank you so much for watching. With me, as always, is
P McGee.
and we'll catch you next week. Peace.